Good evening to all of you and welcome to Vanik IS. Today we shall begin with some MCQ session, and in this session we will go chapter wise. We will go chapter. Yes. We'll go chapter wise and discuss some relevant questions to each chapter. We'll discuss some about 50 questions in these sessions. This is a good initiative of Vanik for the students who are appearing for OPC and UPSC examinations. This initiative is expected to help the thousands of aspirants who are preparing for the most coveted profession in India. I hope this session will help candidates of all hues and help them in their preparation. It will not only help the aspirants of civil servants but also for other examinations. This session will be definitely useful. So kindly do your needful and watch this, give your constructive comments, what improvements you can bring in this session. Today we shall discuss the first chapter of Indian polity and governance. And in this session we will discuss 50 questions. In historical background, we shall discuss the historical settings before the constitution, and also some questions will be there on making of the constitution. You know, Indian constitution is historical developments, although it is not a product of revolution, rather a product of deliberation and debate in the August Constituent Assembly that held from 1946 to 1949 within over a span of about 3 years. But historical developments during the pre-independent era has had tremendous impact on the making of the constitution. The historical factors like the socio-religious movements, the ancient texts like Vedas and others have also some impacts, the Indian way of life, the traditions, and most importantly, the colonial initiatives. The initiatives or the acts made by the British for administration of India have had their implication on the making of the constitution. For example, the profound impact on the constitution has been from Government of India Act 1935. It is said that more than 70% of the text of the constitution are indirectly related to Government of India Act 1935. In fact, we have established a modified form of government that was inherited from Government of India Act 1935. Apart from Government of India Act 1935, the Government of India Act 1919 has had also some impact on the Constitution, and the other acts have their way into the Constitution. So these are the facts about the historical background, not only the colonial initiatives, but also the traditions, customs of India and the Indian way of life, the yoga, the Vedas, the philosophies, and the socio-religious movements have had their way into the constitution. So in this session, we'll discuss some relevant questions related to these developments. Let us begin with that. Look at the question 1. Which of the following is not correct regarding Government of India Act 1858? Government of India Act 1858 is a watershed development in the colonial era. It heralded a new chapter in the political history of India. It provided for direct British rule in India, and the company rule came to an end under this act. So this act made provision for direct British rule or crown rule in India. So which of the following is not correct? There was separation of power. All the civil, military, executive and administrative functions were distributed. No, not at all. Because British did not provide a democratic form of government. It retained the absolute power in decision making. It was quite centralized in form, and it was not a democratic government. So there is no chance of separation. So we can, first option is wrong. There was no democratic option, or there was no separation of power. In fact, separation of power is a core principle of democracy. So we can conclude that British could not implement democracy, could not establish democracy during its rule in India. So that is completely wrong. But let us examine the other options whether they are correct or not. The administration of the country was not only unitary but also rigidly centralized. Yes. The control of the Secretary of State over the Indian administration was absolute in nature. Yes. The Secretary of State was the highest authority in charge of India during the British time, and after 1858 he became the highest authority in Indian affairs. He was a minister in the British cabinet in charge of India. So his power, his control was absolute, nobody could challenge. The entire machinery of administration, let me just show, the entire machinery of the administration was bureaucratic, with total indifference towards people. It was not a popular government. It was not popular in nature. So it is also right. It is also right. It is also right. So answer is A. Remember, British did not introduce separation of power. That is most important thing. So first option is incorrect. Number two, who was the Governor General of British India when Constituent Assembly started functioning? Constituent Assembly started functioning on 9 December. We can say 9 December. That is your 9 December 1946. And during that time, Lord Abel was the Viceroy of India. And Lilith Go was also the Viceroy for him. And he was there after the 35 came into effect. Lord Wellington was the Viceroy of India when Government of India Act was enacted, the most famous act. Lord Irwin was the Viceroy during the civil disobedience movement. Question number 3. The Government of India Act provided for establishment of All India Federation and introduced provincial autonomy. All India Federation was envisaged in Government of India Act 1990. For the first time, provincial subjects were separated from central subjects. However, the real federation or the institutional mechanism for Indian federation was provided only in Government of India Act 1935, and it also introduced provincial autonomy by abolishing diarchy, which was introduced in Government of India Act 1990. So these two developments, important developments, that is establishment of All India Federation and introduction of provincial autonomy, took place under Government of India Act 1935, which came into effect on April 1st, 1937. It came into existence in April 1st, 1937, and provincial autonomy was granted. Provinces were granted much autonomy in comparison to the previous acts. Okay, these are the C. Answer is C, and his answer is B. Question number 4. Which among the following designed the June 3 plan? June 3 plan is meant for separation or division of, that is partition of India into India and Pakistan. And June 3 plan formed the basis of Indian Independence Act 1947. During that time, Lord Mountbatten was the Viceroy of India, and he was the last Viceroy of India and first Governor General of Free India. First Governor General of Free India. So that is B. Which among the following, question number 5, which among the following introduced the system of communal representation for Muslims? Communal representation took place in 1909 Council Act. It is not Charter Act, it is Council Act, or popularly known as Morley-Minto Act. Morley-Minto Reform Act, as all of you know, 1909. So there was a similar deputation led by Aga Khan to the Viceroy Morley, and they demanded that special representation should be provided to Muslims for betterment of the community. And the deputation's demand was accepted by the British, and Morley, or Minto, sorry, Viceroy Minto, tried to introduce the communal representation, and it became a part of 1909 Act. Hence, Minto is popularly known as father of Indian communal electorate system for its infamous contribution. So it is the first act which provided separate electorate for Muslims. Later, it led to separate electorate for different communities like Sikh, Indian Christians, Europeans, and Anglo-Indians under Government of India Act 1919, and to depressed classes, women and laborers under Government of India Act 1935. So what I need to say you, that 3 acts are related to communal electorate system. Number 1, the Council Act 1909. Number 2, Government of India Act 1919. Number 3, Government of India Act 1935. So in Government of India Act 1909, Muslims were granted separate electorate system. The answer will be C. Answer will be C. Next we'll come to the question number 6. The present constitution was framed under, the present constitution means the Indian constitution was framed under cabinet mission. Although the demand for the peace mission also made for provisions for a cabinet mission, but that could not take place. That was a failed mission. But cabinet mission arrived in 1946 in March, and it recommended for establishment of a Constituent Assembly for the undivided India, recommending 389 members for the assembly. And this Constituent Assembly was started functioning on 9 December 1946, and made the present Constitution of India. So that will be Cabinet Mission 1946. So that is your correct answer B. Okay. So that is your correct answer B. The Mountbatten Plan is known as June 3 Plan 1947, Abel Plan 1946, and your Gibbs Mission 1942. Stafford Gibbs. Next, question 7. Which among the following is not correct with about Government of India Act 1935? Not correct. First of all, look at whether it is, this phrase is very important. Whether it is not correct or correct, that you have to see. So it abolished diarchy at the center. No. It introduced diarchy at the center. Rather, it abolished diarchy at the provinces, which was introduced under Government of India Act 1990. So that is the answer. Not correct. It is not correct. So it will answer A. Let us examine other options. It provided for a federal Supreme Court, yes, which was established on 1st April 1937. Provided for a federal body, yes. Federal Public Service Commission, Provincial Public Service Commission, Joint Public Service. Yes. It provided for division of power, yes. There were three lists. Three lists are called federal list, provincial list, and concurrent list. Concurrent list. The answer will be A. Easy questions. Easy questions. Number 8. The first Governor General of India. It's very easy, isn't it? SSC level question. But still, that the answer. The first Governor General of India. That answer. Lord William Bentinck. Lord William Bentinck became the first Governor General of India under Charter Act 1833. In fact, Charter Act 1833 introduced government 1833 introduced the office of Governor General of India, and it is rather a culmination of centralization process which began in Regulating Act 1773. Lord William Bentinck had the distinction of becoming the first Governor General of India. In 1833, that was provided under Charter Act 1833. And Lord Warren Hastings was the first Governor General of Bengal. Okay, these are the famous things. Number 8, question answer B. Right? Now come to the 9. Easy question also. Direct elections and bicameralism were introduced in Indian or Government of India Act 1919. I told you that Government of India Act 1919 is a major act enacted by British government. It is considered as the first milestone in constitutional reforms in India. It is the first constitutional initiative, the constitutional arrangement for India. This act heralded substantial changes in Indian administration and governance. It is otherwise known as Montagu-Chelmsford Reform Act. In fact, Government of India Act 1919 based upon the Montford Report 1917 and direct election bicameralism are important characteristics of this act. It introduced direct election in the country. The members of Central Legislative Council and Assembly and Council of States under this act, this Central Legislative Council became bicameral. It became bicameral. CLC became bicameral, which considered CLA constituent as the Central Legislative Assembly and Council of States. This is known as bicameralism. So it is bicameralism at the center, not provinces. In the provinces, bicameralism was introduced under Government of India Act 1935. And direct election was also introduced. But it was not universal franchise, very universal suffrage. It was limited suffrage. Voting rights were given to people on the basis of certain criteria like income, education, and your wealth, property, income, property, and education. So very limited franchise was promoted, whatever, but direct election was provided. So answer will be C. Okay, answer will be C. Portfolio system was introduced in. Portfolio system refers to departmental system, which was experimentally introduced by Lord Canning in 1959, but it was introduced in 1961, not 1861. Sorry, it is 1861. So that is the point. So answer will be A. Answer will be A. Okay. Now we'll come to question number 12. Who among the following is considered as father of civil service for its contribution to its introduction? Father of civil service can be considered Lord Cornwallis can be considered father of civil service in India. Lord Cornwallis is known as father of civil service in India. He was appointed as the British general in 1786, and he introduced covenanted and non-covenanted services. Covenanted special services, covenanted and uncovenanted civil service. Got some reforms. So it's considered for its contribution as father of Indian civil service. Which of the following is not associated with separate electorate system? I told you the three acts which are associated with separate electorate system. Which is associated with the system. Indian Consulate is actually the first act for Muslims. And it is the second act for Christians, Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians, Europeans, and Sikhs. And there is another act, 1935. Communal Award is 1932, which is popularly known as MacDonald Award, declared by British Prime Minister MacDonald, Ramsay MacDonald. It also recommended for reservation for depressed classes among the Hindu electorates, which was vehemently opposed by Mahatma Gandhi, and he went on fasting for indefinite period. This incident resulted in Pune Pact, which was signed between Mahatma Gandhi and B.R. Ambedkar on behalf of the depressed classes society. So communal award is also related to electoral system, but Indian Council Act 1892 is not related. It will be answer D. That will be answer D. Okay. Next, the Central Legislative Council was established under Charter Act 1853. A. Under this act, the Governor General's legislative and executive power was separated, and a Central Legislative Council was established. A Central Legislative Council was established under this act. Okay. Which of the following was not a recommendation of Simon Commission? John Simon Commission is a very important commission so far as the British rule in India is concerned. This commission came to review the working of the Government of India Act 1919 and made suitable contribution towards strengthening the system and pacifying the growing anti-British campaign. Okay, it came to India in 1927 and submitted its report in 1930. It made tremendous contribution, which formed the basis of Government of India Act 1935. Simon Commission recommended abolition of diarchy. It also recommended for establishment of Federation of British India and Princely States. It also favored continuation of communal electoral system, but introduction of bicameralism in the provinces was not a recommendation. You can say answer is D. Answer is D. Question number 15. Who among the following is called father of communal representation in India? Obviously, Lord Minto, for his infamous contribution towards introduction of separate electoral system. I told you about similar deputation led by Aga Khan in that is Aga Khan to Simla, and demand of the deputation found communal representation. So Lord Minto was called the father of communal representation. Question number 16. The first Indian ICS officer was Satyendra Nath Tagore. In 1863, probably, he became the first Indian to qualify in ICS examination, which was held in London at that time. ICS examination was allowed, but Indians were allowed to appear ICS examination only after Charter Act 1853. And the modus operandi was recommended by Macaulay Committee of Civil Service in 1834. Satyendra Nath Tagore became the first Indian ICS officer. Who was the governor of Odisha when it became a separate state in 1936? Who was the governor of Odisha when it became a separate state in 1936? That is Austin Hobart. Austin Hobart was the first governor. Chandulal Madhavlal Trivedi was the first Indian governor. and he was governor at the time of independence of India. Okay, boys. So answer will be A. Who among the following were the members of the cabinet mission? Okay. Cabinet mission is an important mission which came to India in March 1946 on the decision taken by the Attlee government, Clement Attlee government in England. They were sent to India to decide the final course of action in order to grant independence to India by June 1948. So it is a high-powered mission consisting of three prominent cabinet ministers. And these three persons were there. All of them were the members. It is called cabinet mission because all the members were cabinet ministers. It is a high-level mission came to India. Now, on the recommendation of this cabinet mission, Constituent Assembly was formed and which prepared the constitution for India. Okay, so answer will be D. Answer 18, question 18 is D. The system of dual government was introduced in dual government. Means a body in charge of company commercial affairs, a body in charge of political affairs. The company's activities were separated. The commercial activities and political activities were separated. And the court of directors of the British East India Company was to look after the commercial activities only, and a board of control consisting of members from the British government was set up to look after the political activities affairs of the British Indian colony. And it was introduced in Pitt's India Act 1784. Dual government. Dual government means division in the activities of the British East India Company. Separated the political activities of the company and granted it to the newly constituted board called Board of Control. It consisted of British members. 6 members were there. 19. Question number 19, answer A. 20. Consider the following acts. British Peace India Act 1784, that is a revision. 1784. Regulating Act 1773. Charter Act, First Charter Act 1793. First Indian Council Act 1861. So that will be 2, 1, 3, 4. 2, 1, 3, 4 will be that. And that will be 2, 1, 3, 4. Answer B. Is that clear? Answer will be B. Okay. Next question. Which of the following statements can be proper reasons for dissatisfaction of Indian nationalist leaders against the popular Parliamentary Reforms Act? The Parliamentary Reform did not aim at establishment of a parliamentary system or self-government in the country. Yes, that was the reason also. And provided for retention of the final decisions on all questions in the hands of irresponsibility. Yes, both are right. Both are correct. The Indian leaders, moderates, especially moderates, were not satisfied. And the extremists called this act as anti-Indian act. But the moderates had certain reservations. They did not satisfy. They did not. They did not agree with the recommendations. They were not satisfied. So answer will be both of them. That is C. Answer will be C. Right? Next is your match the list. Match list with list 2. Select the correct answer. Okay, let us see. Indian Council Act 1861. It introduced representative system. Brigade provided nomination of certain members, non-official members, vice versa executive council. So that is called introduction of representative system. Official representation started in 1909. 1892 provided introduced principle of election. Although the word election was not used, but it enabled the Indians to nominate some members to central and provincial legislative council. Hence, it is said that 1892 introduced principle of election. But remember, the word election was not used. And 1784, Indian affairs under the control of British government. That is the Board of Control. Board of Control that kept the Indian matters under its supervision. And finally, 1919 introduced diets. So it will be 3124 B. '23. Which of the following is correct regarding the Simon Commission? It was constituted in 1927 and submitted its report 1930. Correct. It was a statutory commission. Why it is called a statutory commission? Why? Why it is called? It was a statutory commission because it was established under Government of India Act 1990. It was introduced, constituted to inquire into the report of the working of the 1980. Yes. So all the statements are correct with regards to Simon Commission. 1, 2, 3 will be the answer. D. Get on now for 24. We'll come to 24. The Government of India Act 1935 and the Constitution of India are both lengthy documents. Yes, assertion is correct. Lengthiest document. Reason the Government of India 35 was taken as a model and substantially incorporated in the Constitution. Yes, I told you, more than 70% of the text are modified and incorporated. Both and true are is the correct explanation of it. Isn't it? '25. Consider the following statements. The first Law Commission of India was established in 1834. Yes. It was established under government of Charter Act 1833. It was headed by Thomas Macaulay, and it had tremendous contribution to India's legal system. It recommended for encoding of or for framing of Indian Penal Code and CRPC, Criminal Procedure Code. And this is a first commission. But remember, the first commission after independence was constituted in 1952, which was chaired by MC Setal Bhatt. Okay, so both the statements are correct in this regard. 25. '26. The idea of constitution was first given by the idea of a written constitution was first given by, I think, M.N. Roy, Manavendranath Roy, a founding member of Communist Party of India. He was the first person to declare but to recommend for a constitution in 1930. Although there was other initiatives before it, like Swaraj Bill by Tilak, but the M.N. Roy was first vocal to make demand for a constitution. The answer will be A. Which of the following statements is correct? Question number 27. Which of the following statements is correct? The Constituent Assembly was a fully elected body. No. It was an elected and nominated body. The members from the British India provinces were elected indirectly, and the members from the princely states were to be nominated. So the Constituent Assembly was composed of both elected and nominated members. Number 2, it was composed of both elected and nominated members. Yes, that is correct. So only 2 is correct. B. This is incorrect. It was 389 members, 296 were to be elected, 93 were to be nominated. It is elected from British India provinces and nominated from native states. So only 2 will be the answer. Question number 28. How many members did Odisha have in the Constituent Assembly? How many members did Odisha have? In the Constituent Assembly of India? There were 9 members. Odisha had also substantial members, 9 members, including Vishwanath Das. And one of the members was a woman, Malati Devi Chaudhary. So it will be D. The original strength of the Constitutional Assembly was 389, as I told you. Later it was reduced to 299 after independence. On 15th August 1947, the strength of the assembly was 299. Out of 229 were to be elected from British India and 70 from princely states. Very easy questions. Read this question. The original strength. Indian national flag was adopted on 22nd July 1947, a historic day for India. The tricolor flag was introduced. And for rules and regulations for hosting the flag and using the flag are mentioned in National Flag Code, which replaced National Honor Act 1970. National Flag Code contains National Flag Code of India was adopted by replacing National Honor Act 1971. There are rules and regulations. It is amended in 2002, Flag Code of India 2002, replaced the National Honor Act 1971, and the government recently amended to allow for national flag to be flown even at night. For Har Ghar Tiranga campaign. Har Ghar Tiranga campaign led to the amendment of the Flag Code of India in 2002, Flag Code of India 2002, to allow for the national flag to be flown even at night. There are general rules and regulations. There are general rules and regulations that are to be followed. Okay? So please get some idea about the flag code, the ratio, and the history of the act of the flag. How did it evolve into the tricolor flag of India? Finally, it was adopted in its present form during the meeting of the Constituent Assembly held on 22nd July 1947. Okay, but please take some idea about flag and its rules and regulations. Next, 31. Indian Constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. This is a very easy question, but why did the 26th January was chosen? On this day, in 1930, the tricolor flag was hoisted on the bank of river Ravi in the aftermath of Lahore session of the Congress in 1920, December 1929. So answer will be C. And India became a republic on this day. Time taken to complete the Indian Constitution. It's 2 year, 11 months, 18 days. That is the date. Answer B. Who among the following pairs of persons were not members of Constitution? Obviously, M.K. Gandhi and M.A. Jinnah. M.K. Gandhi were not present, and Jinnah was not present because he was demanding separation of Pakistan, and he was against a united constitution. So he did not participate. A. Jawaharlal Nehru, Subhash Chandra Bose, Lal Bahadur Shastri, Sardar Patel, Sarojini Naidu were all the prominent members of the August Assembly. And they had tremendous contribution towards making. How many schedules were there at the time of adoption of the Constitution? That is 8 schedules. And 4 schedules were added. That is IX schedule, X schedule, XI schedule, and XII schedule. IX schedule was amended by First Constitutional Amendment Act 1951. X schedule was amended by 52nd Constitutional Amendment Act 1985. XI schedule was amended at 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act 1992, and it was added by 74th Constitutional Amendment Act 1992. So originally we had 8 schedules. And who can add a schedule? Parliament through special majority. Parliament through special majority can add a schedule. The Constitution the answer will be C. Objective resolution was passed by the Constituent Assembly on 22nd January 1947. It was moved on 13 December 1946. And this objective resolution contained the ideas, the philosophies of the future constitution. It described India as a sovereign independent republic, and later it was modified into sovereign democratic republic. But the philosophies of the constitution were mentioned in this objective resolution drafted by Jawaharlal Nehru. The text of objective resolution now are included in the preamble. So it will be A. 35, 36. Match the following committees. These are the committees of Constituent Assembly. Union Power Committee was chaired by Nehru. Nehru chaired 3 committees. Union Constitution Committee, Union Power Committee, States Committee. So Nehru, Union Power Committee, that is Steering Committee was chaired by Rajendra Prasad. Drafting Committee was chaired by B.R. Ambedkar. And Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights was chaired by Patel. It was a large committee. Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, excluded areas, minorities, etc. Later, a subcommittee on fundamental rights was created also, chaired by J.B. Kripalani. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4. Answer will be A. These are the prominent committees which helped the Constituent Assembly to frame a successful constitution for India. So there were larger major committees and minor committees. Please go through the committees also and have some comprehensive idea about the arrangement of committees in the Constituent Assembly. 36. We shall come to 37. Adoption of preamble. Adoption of preamble. Adoption of preamble. Adoption of preamble we can say, okay, adoption of national anthem is 24th January 1950 and 1950. Objective resolution 22nd January 1947. Drafting Committee August 29 August 1947. So that will be okay. Date is given. Okay. Then adoption of preamble probably 22nd January adoption. Objective resolution 13 December about the move Korea kata koiba eta 13 December. So that will be 22nd January. Remember 22nd January. It is 13 December. The adoption of preamble 3. Objective resolution 1. Adoption of preamble is 22nd January 1947. And objective resolution, adoption of national anthem is 2. Objective resolution, adoption of national is 2. Then it is 1. So answer will be B. Answer will be B. Which among the following is not correct? In the first meeting of Constituent Assembly, they were attended by 211 members. Yes. Total expenditure was 64 lakh boli kuhajaye. Was partly elected, partly nominated. Had its final sessions on 26 January, no, 24 January 1950. So that will be the answer, D. Who among the following became the constitutional advisor to the Constituent Assembly? B. N. Rao. B. N. Rao was the constitutional advisor. B. N. Rao, Indian jurist and famous jurist, a civil servant, diplomat, a statesman. A prominent brother, and he remained the constitutional advisor from the beginning to end. He was also the representative on the United Nations Security Council from 1950 to 52. He had several key roles. He held several key positions during his career. He played an important role in the drafting of the Constitution. He is also known as the pioneer of the Constitution of India. B. N. Rao. How many members signed the Constitution on date of adoption, that is 26 November 1949? 284 members. B. Who chaired the Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, other parted as we have blocked? B. Which of the following provinces had largest number of Constituent Assembly? That is United Province. C. Who among the following was the chairman of the drafting committee? Drafting committee was constituted on 29 August 1947. It consisted of 7 members. It was chaired by B.R. Ambedkar. And apart from B.R. Ambedkar, there was N. Madhav Rao, T.T. Krishnamachari, K. Munshi, Syed Muhammad Sadullah, N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar, Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer. So there are 7 members, including the chairman. And it is mentioned that the drafting committee took 114 days to complete the Constitution. It played a pioneering role in making a suitable Constitution for newly independent India. B.R. Ambedkar, Alladi Krishnaswamy. B.R. Ambedkar said Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer was the chief architect of the Constitution in India. He had tremendous contribution. Most of the members had huge contribution towards making a good constitution for India. Remember all details about drafting committee. Number 44. The Constituent Assembly first finally met on 24th January 1950. It was the last working day. And 26th January 26th January 1950, which was a Thursday, considered to be most auspicious day in a week, and India began its journey of being a republic from the auspicious day, that is Thursday, 26 January 1950. So that is the reason you can say the finally meeting was held in 24th January, and some important decisions were taken, and Rajendra Prasad was declared as the first president of India, and national anthem, national song, all were adapted on this day, and finally this was done. 45. The members of the Constituent Assembly, both elected and nominated, we had discussed it, both elected and nominated. C. '46. Who among the following were the members? This just I have read out the members' names to you. So Kanhaiyalal Maniklal Munshi was there, Alladi Krishnaswamy was there, Jawaharlal Nehru was not there, N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar was there. Apart from that, Muhammad Sadullah, Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, B.R. Ambedkar, B.R. Ambedkar, N. Madhav Rao, T.T. Krishnamachari, Syed Muhammad Sadullah. So 1, 3, 1, 2, 4 will be the answer. B. Match list with the match list with list 2. Union Power Committee was chaired by Nehru, Steering Committee was chaired by Rajendra Prasad, Minority Subcommittee was chaired by S.C. Mukherjee, Fundamental Rights Subcommittee was chaired by J.B. Kripayan. So it is the right form, right order. So we can say the answer is 1, 2, 3, 4. D. Consider the following statements. The national flag was adopted on 22nd January 1947. Yes. It was designed by Bengali Baker. The saffron color at the top signifies strength and courage. The green color indicates fertility, growth, and auspiciousness of the land. And white signifies peace. I told you, he gets comprehensive idea about the flag and the flag code. Questions are also coming around. So all of them will be the answer. D. Consider the following statements. National anthem was adopted on 24th January 1950. Only the first stanza of the Jana Gana Mana has been adopted. Yes. The playing time is 52 seconds. Yes. It is regulated under National Honor Act, which is now National Honor Act 1971. So National Honor Act 1971, enacted by Parliament, prohibits the insult or desecration of national symbols, including national flag, national anthem, national emblem, national motto, and the map of India. It applies to the whole of India. The Act governs hoisting, use, and display of the Indian national flag. The Flag Code of India 2002, as amended in 2021 and 2022, also governs the flag. Now, recently, government has amended it as the Prevention of Insult to National Honor Act, Amendment Act 2018. The bill has been introduced in 2018 for that reason. So that is there. So 1, 2, 3, 4 may be are correct. 1, 2, 3, 4 are correct. So answer will be D. Next, 50 and the last question. Which of the following is incorrect? The Constitution of India was adopted on 26 January 1949. It is called date of adoption or enactment. Was finally signed by members on 24 January 1950. And 80 members signed to 84. All the above are correct. D. So, guys, we have discussed some relevant but simple questions on the first chapter. I will be bringing difficult range questions from UPSC levels and others in the next class. We are going stage by stage, and I will be bringing different sections of questions for different chapters. Keep watching our live programs and have your constructive ideas shared with us so that we'll upgrade and we'll be by your side every time. So continue to watch it and have your ideas and comments, constructive comments to be shared. Okay. So this is all about your today's session. And in the next session, we'll be bringing different questions, different sets, and discuss. Any comment, any suggestion, ideas, you can share with us. Thank you very much for watching us and keep watching.